Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. So if you're a first-time viewer, we delve into a lot of painting talk, as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, beware. And of course, if you are attending for the first time, or you just, you finally have a question you need to have, just get off your chest, you can ask it over in the chat, whichever way it is. If you're attending live, and I'm streaming this to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so either platform, I will see your comments and your questions. And of course, you can also join us on waythebrush.com. Well, or you can send an email, sorry. You can send an email to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below, as well as a link to waythebrush.com, which is the central hub of all the silliness. It has links to all the social medias, the Instagrams, Twitter. Whenever I post like updates or announcements or whatever, I usually post to Twitter. Instagram's just pretty pictures. Facebook, if you need to ask questions there, Facebook's another fun place. And of course, Discord. Discord has been really fantastic. Again, we just been hanging out here and talking. We got a whole bunch of channels of all sorts of entertaining things. Make sure you join us in the welcome center, so you chime in and say, hey, I'm here, And of course, as well as other channels for asking questions, hobby-related questions, and some of them are just completely random. It's the monkeys. They do whatever they want in there, so there's very little moderation, but when people act up, they get the boot, so beware of that as well. And of course, waythebrush.com also has links for t-shirts. You want to get yourself a t-shirt, look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way the Brush t-shirt. You also want to look knowledgeable, like immediately, like how when you have a person and like they're like this, and they're you think, oh, okay, he seems like a normal person, and then he puts on the glasses, and you're like, hey, that guy looks smart. That's the same thing with the t-shirt. Way the Brush t-shirt, you're gonna immediately look like somebody who knows what to talk about as far as painting's concerned. So slap one of those on, and away you go. It's instant cred. I know. I still gotta come up with a really good pitch for that. So waythebrush.com also has links to the t-shirts. Everybody who's purchased a shirt, send me a picture of yourself and I'll add it to the Monkey Shrine, because I like having this interaction with all of you guys. And so everybody who's helped me out by buying shirts, it's kind of my way, I guess, of saying thank you and showing your pretty faces out there on the internet and everybody in their shirts. And so why not, right? And of course, waythebrush.com also has links for Patreon support. For anybody who wants to consider supporting monetarily by contributing to Patreon. I only charge per episode of Way the Brush. I also produce other videos, but I don't charge for those, just Way the Brush. And, it's a weekly show, so you can kind of figure out what you want to contribute, what you got, what have you. But, of course, you don't have to do that as well. Liking, thumbing up, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all the other social things we do with YouTube and Twitch, by all means, please do that as well. If you can't, if you can't support monetarily, there are other ways to support. And if this show helps you out, then, I think it's worth just a little thumb up, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm really trash at this, and maybe I should just, just be glad that whatever support I get, just, I get. So what monkeys are joining us today? Who's all in here? We got Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Let the poop flinging commence. Knitfink, hello everyone. Hello Knitfink. Steve McDemon, hey hey. Jim White, good morning and hello, hello. Aaron Seach, hello Chris and fellow poo flingers. Boy, everybody's in a poo flinging kind of mood today, I guess. Sir Peanut Butter, howdy poop flingers again. Ben Ellis, hello Monkey Lord and monkeys. Lord Krabby, sup Matter Flowers and Monkey King, Matter Flowers. Matter Flowers? There must be something the kids are saying these days. I don't know. Dark Commission, hi Chris and monkeys. Ebb and Flow, sup everybody. Tavo, a hand. He's waving, I guess. He's hi. Hey, if you want to just wave, just wave. Or do a one-fingered salute. One of the two. Works for me. Johnny's Chop Shop. Good morning, beautiful monkey. G Squared. Hey, Chris. And all you monkeys. Haven't read G Squared name in a little bit. Geo Fitz. Afternoon, Chris and monkeys. Matthew Perez. Good morning, Chris and fellow monkeys. Working today. But after lunch, I'm going to do some highlights to my kill team of Death Watch. Hope we're showing off one day. Yes, please. Just share it anyway. Don't be afraid to share, you know. I think this is mostly a safe space that we can, you know, share ideas and, you know, as long as we're willing to accept any kind of criticism and pointers that, you know, somebody might have. If you are accepting of critique of your work, no matter what skill level you are, then I think, you know, you're in good hands, I think. GeoFits, your background looks much more organized today. I know. Much more organized. You may notice that Chris has finally squared away a lot of the mess that was on his desk as far as like the paints were concerned. And you may or may not notice, but I organize by color spectrum. So it starts off, well, I have all the tall bottles on the top here along with my technicals, but then it starts off with white, and it goes white, 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 gray, 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 blue, gray, and then blues, and then blues to purple, well, blue, grays, and then to purple. Purple, purple, red, magenta, dark red, and oranges, and then oranges to yellows, yellows to greens, then gets darker greens to really dark green to brown, dark brown, and then dark brown out to really light brown. And then, of course, I have my flesh colors right there. The fleshes can go into the browns, but I often keep flesh separate because I'm weird like that, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, that's how I organize up my colors. I posted something in the YouTube community thing. I posted a little picture, and of course, big thank you to GeoFits for sending me the link on these racks. And if anybody goes to the YouTube community thing, somebody had asked what that link was, like where I got these, and so I posted that link in there. So if anybody's curious about these racks, which were very affordable, yeah. So again, big thank you to GeoFits for pointing that out to me, because yeah. And again, you know, it's all about sharing. It's all about sharing. Edward Horseman, hello, Monkey Lord and monkeys. First time I've caught you live in about 2 years. Still got to work later, though. Sad face. Old Man Logan over on Twitch. Hey, Chris. Hey, monkeys. I hope all is well. And, of course, big thank you to, I think it was Dopestone? I can't remember what the handle is. Dope? Anyway, he subscribed on Twitch, so big thank you to him as well for supporting in that fashion, as it were, on Twitch. I'd like to do more on Twitch. If anybody has any like really great ideas as far as like more stuff to do, like I posted like the first reboot episode of, it was episode 11 on Twitch, kind of a rerun for anybody, you know, who's not that familiar, and kind of, you know, it's good for laugh. I posted on a Sunday, scheduled at the same time, kind of like What Way the Brush is, so it aired at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sunday, and it's a rerun. It's an old episode, you know. I don't know, just to kind of keep the ball rolling, because a lot of things that were said way back when, for the most part, still have a lot of relevance today, even though I started doing Way the Brush in 2013. So I've been doing this show for a while now, and I've been, you know, painting for 30 years. So, you know, I have a little bit of experience in this field. Just a little bit. Pirate Captain Daniel, looks like you got some racks for your paint. I did. Ta-da! Darlene Organic. Good morning from Texas. Good morning. Val Valence. Good morning, monkeys. Morning, Chris. Good morning. Johnny's Chop Shop. Nice rack. We're already going there. We're already going there. We're already heading there. The downward spiral is beginning. I was so positive today that we were gonna, you know, do something, and yeah, we're already on our way to the gutter. Twitchy Kranos, hey everybody, hey Twitchy. Matthew Perez, a fellow Texan, yeehaw. Do Texans say yeehaw a lot? Is that like, you know, like a thing? Because I mean, like, you know, like Canadians, you know, they're famous for hey, eh? Like, you know, we're gonna go over to Tim Hortons, eh, and get a coffee, eh? Oh, it's gonna have some nice. It's gonna be a beauty coffee. It's like snowing, eh? So, like, you know, typically Canadians, you know, it sounds like that, right? So, do Texans, you know, like, is it constantly pistols in the air, like Yosemite Sam, and it's just yeehaw, you know? Because that's immediately what I think. Like, I think the first time I ever go to Texas, that's the first thing I'm gonna be watching for. I'm gonna be watching for cowboys everywhere, and pistols in the air, and yeehaw, you know? I'm fine with that. That's cool, you know? I don't know. Is that a stereotype? That's a stereotype, right? I'm labeling people again, am I? Johnny Shop, need help with brush painting white, as in the Joker. Used white primer, Vallejo paint. Well, with the Joker, like if I was gonna paint the Joker in white, I'd prime him white, right? But I base coat him in a color like Celestra Gray. I'd use this kind of color right here. Been sitting for a little bit here. I'm gonna give it a good shake, just so lots of colors mixed. The product, because when some of these whites, the medium actually has like a dark hue to it, which is actually kind of, you know, counterintuitive to how you'd think that the color mixtures, like you'd think that that dark element in the paint would darken it, but you know, whatever, right? So anywho, Celestra Gray. I would start off with a base coat of something like this color, like this off white, and this is like a really light gray. This is like, you know, it's a toss-up between Administratum Gray and Celestra Gray. Celestra Gray is just a little bit darker, right? So that's why, like, on my little spectrum here, I have, you know, it accordingly, right? Because I see in spectrums, like Predator, I see, like, the ultraviolet and infrared, and, you know what I mean? Like, I got the little thing on my arm. Anyway, so Celestra Gray, I would start that as the base coat. Then, okay, getting really fancy now, I would use a color like, well, I don't know. Say, for example, Dark Reaper. I'd use a color like Dark Reaper. I'd throw a drop of this onto my palette. I'd have, like, say, 3 drops of Lamian Medium, or whatever acrylic medium you have. I would use a drop or 2 of Liquitex Flow Aid, drop or 2 of that into that. Mix the whole thing up. Maybe a dollop of water. Just mix the whole thing into, like, a shade wash. And then not heavily, give the flesh the shade wash, so allowing that little bit darker blue-gray kind of fall into recess, not heavily, but just into like the eye sockets, under the nose, you know, in the face features, under the chin, you know, all that areas, right? And then do a highlight of Ulthrin Gray, and then fine highlight of White Scar or pure white, whatever colors you happen to be using, right? So, but that's how I would do Joker flesh if I was to paint Joker. Kate Jelly 421. Hey Kris. Hey. Arik 13. Hello everyone. Hello. Sir Peanut Butter. Texas Monkeys Unite. Is that like Wonder Twins activate? Raziel. Aloha. Hola. Dr. Santos. Hello monkeys. Ooh, is this a new location? Why, just because I got the racket, everything changed? No, come on, we've been doing Way the Brush here in my lair for a while now, so, you know. K Jelly 421, Kris, what do you use to stack that paint? You made something yourself? No, I think I already addressed that. Go to the community link on the YouTube page here. Just click the unit community. You'll see the picture of this. And then in the comments, you'll see somebody had asked where the link was, and the link's in there. G Squared, I like the color organization, but it looks like you have too much time on your hands. No way. That's all I did the other night. I got these in Thursday, and I was so excited. I also got another toy. What did I get? Oh, I picked up a lavalier mic. Just, you know, like the little clip-on mics. I picked up one of those. So yeah, I was really super excited. And yeah, and Kate Jelly, guess I need to find that link. Yes. Johnny Chop Chop, Way the Brush, episode 236. Kris shows us his rack. I like it. It's crude. Yes, it's crude. I know some of you out there might be going, Kris, but that's really crude. That's a crude joke. I think we all know Kris by now. And Kris goes in for that lowbrow humor. So, yeah. I'm a lowbrow kind of guy, you know. I mean, you know, have no illusions about Kris. Kris, you know, I like a good dick and fart joke like the next person. Rezio, Way of the Brush Conversations. Oh, for Twitch, yeah. I was thinking about reviving the conversations. Just because, you know, it's just, again, it's just another fun way of kind of, you know, getting to meet the monkeys and stuff like that. I was also thinking of getting into contact with some other people, other like YouTube painters, and, you know, I was thinking like that kind of thing. So it's possible. Do it on Twitch only, maybe, and get like post it afterwards on YouTube, maybe, you know, I don't know. It's a good idea though. I think it's a fun idea. Dr. Zanto, so what are people working on these days? I just primed and base coated the aliens from Nemesis board game. Cool. Nemesis board game. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah. Send me a link. I'm not familiar with that Nemesis board game. Darlene Organic. We say y'all. y'all. Yeehaw. Finger bag. Geofids. Get some Timbits, eh? Go get some Timbits, eh? Go get a coffee and some Timbits. Raziel, how often do you say hoser, Kris? You know what? I don't use hoser. I mean, like, I'm familiar with the term, and, like, one of the greatest Canadian movies, Strange Brew. If you're not familiar with it, it's an old Canadian movie. It was back in the 80s with Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. And it was the characters they used to play on SCTV, which was a Canadian skit comedy program, you know, back in the early 80s. And it's hilarious. And, like, they are stereotypical Canadians, right? And so it's nothing but beer and bacon and cigarettes and, you know, and hoser and take off. But yeah, if you get a kick out of Canadian kind of stuff, oh, thanks, Dr. Zantos. Yeah, if you get a kick out of that kind of stuff, you know, check that out. It's called Strange Brew. It's all about these two dumb, like they're not dumb, but they're really kind of low. Anyway, it's a good show. And I really, you know, it's a shame that Rick Moranis went off the grid, and, you know, because I mean, like, he's such a great character actor, and, you know, and he's had so many iconic roles in the past, and, you know what I mean? It'd be hilarious for him and, you know, Dave Thomas to kind of revive that, and, you know, but I mean, they're old as balls now, so, you know, maybe it wouldn't be as funny, you know, see them walking around the walker. Oh, take off, eh, you hoser. That might not be as funny. Sir Peanut Butter, what Darlene said, yeah. Dark Commission, episode 236. Yeehaw! And stuff like in it. What? Ghost Starman Deluxe, expert shaking technique. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it keeps you know, a good bicep and tricep. It's a good workout for the, you know, bicep tricep, right? You want a really good workout? Thoroughly shake up your dry paints, like the Citadel dry colors. Give those a good shake. Really get a thorough mix on the paint. Make sure it's all thoroughly mixed. That's a joke because it's solid. That's a joke, son. Setting you up. It's a joke. Sorry, I'm on my third cup of coffee right now, so I think it's kicking in. Plus, too, I add a little bit of Christmas cheer to mine. Still celebrating. Lewis, shake it real good. Dr. Zed says, I would show you my shaking technique, but it's too raunchy for YouTube. Well, we made that joke plenty of times, because sometimes I'm sitting at my desk and, like, I have like eyesight to Aaron, who's, you know, in charge of shipping, and you guys follow mini wargaming, you know, you're familiar with Aaron, and, you know, I'll be, you know, shaking a paint, but I'm kind of like this, and you can only see like this portions, and you'll see this, you know, I don't think I need to explain what the visual looks like, but yeah. It's a good thing we don't have very good HR at mini wargaming. I probably would have got fired ages ago. Aaron Siege, episode 236, Toques and Cowboy Hats, eh? Toques and Cowboy Hats, eh? I wonder now. Because out west in the prairies in Alberta, there's a lot of, a lot of the cowboy lifestyle, as it were. I don't know if that's the right term, but you get a lot of cowboy hats and Stetsons and stuff out there, and at least it seems like that way. And then I wonder what the Canadian cowboys sound like. Yee-haw! I don't know. Anyway, if there's any Canadian cowboys who tune into this, which I seriously doubt there are, but let me know. Edward Horsman, gotta head back to work again, but we'll definitely catch the show later. See ya, Monkey Lord Monkeys. See you later, Edward. Twitch Kranos, episode 236, a good affordable rack. Lewis, no chunks survive Chris's shake power. I try not to. I work and I'll switch off. It's dragon blood, and I'll switch hands. Or sometimes I'll do two at once, and I'll go and Ishyab, hey you folks, bit late, apologies, but I made it. Be well, all. Be well. Be well. It's like Bill and Ted, in the future when they're all be well. Matthew Perez, since I have everyone, I'm highlighting marine. It blobs up. I'm highlighting marine, and it blobs up before coming to the desired fine line on the model. Using a size 0 brush, could this be more of overload of paint or thinning issue? If you're finding that you're loading the brush and it's not soaked, right? But then you touch the model and it seems like it's like, and all of a sudden you have this blob of paint of color on your model. Yeah, you might have over-thinned the paint. It's an over-thinning issue. That's just by that cursory read of that sentence. That's what that sounds like. So you might be adding if you're using water to thin, you might have too much water. It is possible to get that kind of effect sometimes when using mediums, but usually not. These days, a lot of times, there's nothing wrong with thinning your paints with water. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But be aware that when there is a threshold point thinning paints with water where you break that surface tension and it no longer acts like paint. It'll start to bead up and everything like that, and it'll act like that. And so when you've over thinned it with water and it's in the brush and you touch the model, it'll just go book, and like a pen, right? It'll touch and it'll all of a sudden you got this big blob of paint sitting there. So yeah, quickly dry the brush off, take the brush, touch that point, and re-soak in that little blob of paint. Just quickly wipe it off the excess with your finger, because it is going to be really, really thin. As long as you're really quick about it, you should have no colors remaining there. And then go back in, grab a little bit more paint, add it to that mixture, give it a good mix, see how it flows, right? If it's still a little too thin, then add a little bit more paint, right? And just kind of, you find the balancing act. And it all depends on what you're doing with the paint, right? If you're looking for it to act a bit more like a shade wash, then and use it for panel lining or something like that, you might want it in a fairly thin state, really kind of almost like ink kind of thing, it's really kind of watery kind of thing, but it's still really saturated still. But if you're doing glazing and stuff, then you want it just a little bit before that. If you're doing base coating, then you want it before that, you know what I mean? And so yeah, especially with Citadel colors, you always want to work with the paint in a thinned out state. Very rarely, very, very rarely do you want to take the paint straight from the paint pot and apply it to your model. You always want to thin it down just a little bit and apply it, but not so thin that it beads up on the surface, because then you have to add basically flow improver or use the mediums. But if you're going those routes, and especially if you're glazing and such, I definitely would recommend mediums rather than thinning with water. And I mean, there are artists out there who thin and glaze with just simple water and paint mixtures, but they have perfected their style and their technique for doing it. And so people very new or early on trying out those techniques, they often have a lot of trouble, because basically they're not used to how it feels on their brush and how it all reacts with them and their own experience with it. And it's something that is hard to explain. I mean, I can tell you ratios, but those ratios are only what work for me, and the ratios for another artist would be different, and you know what I mean? And so it's a very personal kind of thing on what kind of color mixtures you want to go with. So there is always that, you know. But don't be discouraged. Again, thinning your paints and learning how the paint flows as you progress closer and closer to a really thinned out state of paint. Do you truly understand it all? And again, it's experience, and it takes practice. It takes practice. It's, again, you know, everybody always talks about brush techniques, but learning how your paint is thinned out and what consistencies and what ratios, do you understand what you need to do? Like, you know, I have different thinning in my head on how much I thin by. It's hard for me to explain it. I mean, I could tell you ratios, but it's not really going to do you much good. I mean, you have to experience it yourself. Gain the knowledge yourself. You know, even using different mediums and stuff like that, because I'm experimenting with all sorts of stuff all the time. You know, it's like, well, 2 drops of this is like 1 drop of this, and you know what I mean? And this kind of paint is to this kind of medium, and you know what I mean, with a drop of water, maybe with some flow aid, maybe a little bit of Vallejo glazing, you know what I mean? And like, there's all these different mediums I'll use to make a concoction and play with it, and you know what I mean? And so, again, it's entirely personal. It's how you like, what your workflow is, and you know, all that. So again, yeah, so thinning your paints, learning to thin your paints is a very important one, which is why when I talk about fundamentals of painting, I talk about the 3 fundamentals: assembly, right? Properly cleaning your models, priming, not over priming and such, and learning how to prime properly, and of course applying a smooth base coat. Because why? Because I often recommend you thin your colors down, learn how the paint flows as you apply multiple thin layers, and of course there's a technique to that as well. And of course that helps you, because then as you get more experience playing with a thinned out paint, you realize, oh, this is how glazing is done. Oh, this is how I want to do shade. You know what I mean? All these different techniques all of a sudden start to become more apparent as you start to learn how to control the thinness of the color. So, yeah. Where am I? G squared, Kris, what precisely do you mean by click on the community button? On the YouTube page, because if you're watching, well, you're obviously on YouTube, and if you go to my channel, right, the channel, you'll see like my intro video, or you'll see the playlists and everything like that, right? You'll see there's a bunch of tabs at the top. There's like, what is it? Something, another thing, community, about, you know what I mean? All that stuff. About. There's a boot there. So, yeah. You'll see it. Just click community and you'll see. It's a new feature. They've added like these things. There's a little poll I've added. It was just kind of a goofy thing, but I added a picture of this and a couple people responded to it, and you know, left a comment as to where I got these paint racks. Dr. Xantos. Rick Moranis left the spotlight when his wife died and he focused on raising his kids. He said he'd do Spaceballs 2 if Mel Brooks gets to it. Yeah, sure. I don't think so. Mel Brooks is getting pretty damn old now. Ghost Stammer Deluxe, 21 minutes into Way of the Brush, and he gives you this look. He gives you this look. What? Rezio, so Kris, if you were to transfer your Citadel paints to dropper bottles, what would be your process? Oof. I don't know. See, I'm not that terribly concerned about paint pots. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there who, you know, can't stand paint pots, and you know, that's fine, right? I have dropper style bottles as well. You know, either one doesn't bother me. The only thing about paint pots is you get the crust buildup, right? Like when you open the lid and you get that crust buildup in there, you just periodically peel that off and the lid's closed just fine, right? So it's no biggie. It's just a part of maintenance of your equipment, right? Maintain your equipment. Take care of your brushes. Clean the paint pots every once in a while if need be, if you're using paint pots. But if I was to transfer them over to dropper style bottles, yeah, it's kind of tricky, because like I'd want to use like a funnel, but because Citadel paint is so heavy bodied, I would be most likely be tempted to add a couple drops of medium to thin it out. I most likely would use something like Lahmian medium, but like a bottle of Lahmian medium spread across all these paint pots. I mean, there's how many paint pots are in the Citadel collection now, right? You'd have to get a bunch of Lahmian medium to thin it out enough that transferring it would be fairly efficient, right? rather than a thick goopy mess that typically, you know, Citadel paint is. And you definitely would want some sort of funnel to capture everything, but you'd want to thin it so that you get maximum transference, because trying to do it like bottle to bottle kind of thing would just be, you're going to get paint everywhere and you're going to have paint loss, right? And even if you use a funnel, I'd rather use a wide, broad funnel that would go into that space rather than a funnel that went really small, because then you got to wait for that paint to, you know what I mean? Like, you have to thin the paint down to transfer it effectively. And then, you know, then you got the little funnels, but then, you know, that's going to be a huge process to do all these paints. And I don't even think I have all the colors. No, I don't. I don't have all the colors. Because I'm missing some edges. I got to get some more edges. Which, you know, are fantastic colors, by the way. Yeah. I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of work. And, you know, I got more important things to do. You know, so... no, I wouldn't transfer them. It's just too much like work, man. I was having a conversation with my mother last night, and I was telling her, you know, like, I'm ruined for regular kind of work. I couldn't do a regular kind of 9-to-5 job, being what I've been doing for the last like 7 years now. So yeah, and that, transferring all those paints over, oh, that sounds like work. Oof. No thanks. No spank you. But yeah, so Resia, if I was to do it, yeah, that most likely what I would do. I would probably thin it down a couple drops, give it a good stir and shake, you know, so the paint was nice and loose, and then transfer it into a dropper style bottle. And that's most likely going to be the best way to do it anyway, because, you know, a dropper style bottle, it favors thinner body paint anyway, right? So, yeah. So you're most likely going to have to thin it. I would recommend Lamy medium just because it's the medium that works well with their paint. Not that any other thinning medium ain't going to work either. You could use water as well, but when you're adding water, you're breaking it down, right? Rather than using a thinning medium to thin the body of the paint, but not to, you know, add in a new compound into the paint, right? So yeah, I would use medium to thin, but using that much Lamy medium on all the paints, that sounds expensive and kind of unnecessary. GeoFits, Alberta is the Texas of Canada. It is actually. It's Texas, yeah, and yeah, it pretty much is. Vile Villains, no, you have the best. HR at Mini Wargaming, Matt and Dave, just looking at you with a face that says, dude, and then you're good. Yeah. Ben Ellis, episode 236. You shake, I'll hold. Oh my. Oh my. David Norman, how do you get a real smooth coat using metallics? To get a really smooth coat using metallics, okay, here's a couple things, right? Okay, priming the model, okay? Use a gloss black. You could use gloss dark colors, you know, if you want to get really fancy, but if you don't really know how the colors are going to interact on top of each other and what, you know what I mean? And if you're not just sure, safe bet is always black. Bet on black. Gloss black. Prime with a gloss black. StynoRes sells a gloss black. I've been a recent convert over to StynoRes paints. I really enjoy it. I was a long time user of Vallejo. Nothing wrong with Vallejo. Vallejo is a really great product, and it's worked for me very, very well in the past. I don't know if they have a gloss black, but if they did, I probably would use it. I'm not a big fan of their regular black. Their gray is awesome. Their white is fantastic. But I've switched over to StynoRes recently, and I'm very happy with my switch. And so I've been using StynoRes. StynoRes makes a gloss black primer. It goes on really smooth. It cures quickly on the model surface, like 10-15 minutes. It was cured, and then I can continue with my painting. Whereas sometimes with Vallejo, it felt like it took a lot longer. So gloss black as your base, as your prime. Okay, then you take your paint. You know, Citadel Metallics. I'm afraid, Citadel, that I'm not a huge fan of the metallics. I'm more, I lean towards Scale 75, Turbo Dork, and even MIG Ammo. MIG Ammo have some really great metallics in there, and they're all water-based acrylics. They're not lacquer-based, because lacquer-based metallics are better than water-based acrylics. I'll just throw that out there just to throw a monkey wrench in your thought process right there. But lacquer-based paints, different beast from these. So these are way easier to use. If you're using Citadels, not a problem. Not a problem. Just my own personal preference. I'm just, you know. But anyway. So you have your gloss black and you have your paint. Make sure that this is thoroughly shook, right? Shook, 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 shook. Switch hands. Shake it, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake it lots. And then you want to put a little dollop onto your palette. I highly recommend using medium if you have Lamy and medium in your collection. If you're using Citadels, I'm not going to assume you're using Citadels. Use Lamy and medium to thin. Just, you got to take a little dollop on your brush. Now, side note, going back to the dropper style bottle, I would transfer Lamy and medium to a dropper bottle. I'll throw that out there and throw a monkey wrench in everybody's ideas as well. Anybody who's been watching my videos on mini wargaming and the quick tips and stuff like that, you'll see that whenever I show Lamy medium, it's in a dropper bottle. That definitely should be in a dropper bottle because it's easier to add just a drop to your mixture. Whereas when it's in the paint pot, you might contaminate it with other colors and residual color in your brush, right? So it's better it be in a dropper bottle so that there's like no risk of contamination. Because, you know, you don't want cross-contamination of colors. As minuscule as it might be, you just don't want it. You just don't want it. And so, yeah. So it's a drop or two of medium to thin the metallic out. I prefer medium with metallics for thinning over water because water, if you end up over thinning sometimes, what ends up happening is you'll see the metallics lift up from the acrylic. And you'll see the metallic flakes floating, and they separate, right? And you can visually see it on your palette. You'll see the colors separate, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not normal. You can still use it and apply it to the model, but your colors in the vibrancy just all of a sudden gets lost. So you're better off with just a drop or two of medium because basically that thins the paint without creating that separation. Then, laying a nice smooth base coat, you've thinned out your metallics. You apply it on your model surface. I'm talking by brush. If it was by airbrush, obviously it's a little bit simpler and faster, but you can still do it by paintbrush. And you might not be using that much of it, you know. Whereas like airbrushing, there is a lot of waste a lot of times because there's just overspray and you know what I mean. Like, but anyway, when you're laying your base coat, right, your brush strokes, just be mindful of your brush strokes as you lay that base coat down, right, up and down. Your first couple layers first layer onto the model. Let it dry. You say, oh, I can still see some areas where, you know, color is not quite as strong. You apply your second layer, but you go the opposite direction. So if your brush strokes were going this way on the model, this next layer, your brush strokes will go this way on the model. Okay? Be very conscious of that. Reason being, it creates a lattice of brush strokes on the model surface. It creates a smooth surface. If you always go in the same direction with your brush strokes, you create big ass brush strokes on your model. That becomes a pain when it comes to like dry brushing or having a nice smooth surface, like to apply transfers, decals, you know what I mean? So those all become problems. So being able to lay a nice smooth base coat is paramount and is something you should perfect early on in your hobby painting. So I'll leave it at that. And of course, said it a million times, say it a million more times, I have a bunch of the videos on this subject in Mini Wargaming's vault under quick tips and other various tutorials, and there's other artists in there as well. I have well over 1,000 videos. If you're not already a vault member, you should be a vault member, and you can try it for 7 days for free. Just make sure you get the silver. It always sounds like I'm pushing a commercial, but hey, that's what pays my bills. Mini Wargaming pays my bills, so you know, I always gotta you know, show you guys. And plus too, I mean, like, it's a huge body of knowledge I've created there, and there's nowhere else on the internet on this hobby a larger collection of videos. Yes, it's behind a paywall, but all education costs. So I'll leave that as that. Darlene, 3D printed my small paint racks. I print my miniatures too. That's cool. What kind of printer do you use? Epic Duck Mike, he did a print job for me. He's got the small resin printer. I can't remember what the hell the name of it is. It's a pretty good one, and it did a really great job. I posted a picture of the model. Do I have the model here? No, I don't have the model here. It's a Dragonborn model I did for D&D, and he did a fantastic print. I like the quality of the resin. With the printer he's got is really good. I've seen there's one that's like $300. It's really cheap. Well, $300 really cheap, right? But anyway, and so it was very affordable. But the one he has, it's a little bit more, but it looks pretty sharp, and it looks like a serious printer. But yeah, so yeah, Epic Duck Mike, he printed off. He's got a printer. And Mini Wargaming Steve, I don't know if he's still serious about it, but he was talking about picking one up as well, because he's been going wild with Hue Forge and doing printing. So he's been talking about picking up a printer. I don't know if he's still on that track or what, but yeah. So Matthew Perez, gotcha, Kris. I'm using water, but I might go buy some medium before I start today. We'll check into the suggestion of the thinning ratio as well. Email results after Monday if I get good shots. Sure. Yeah, please do. Please do. And yes, I definitely would. If you're using Citadel colors, pick up lobby and medium. In fact, if you can pick up 2 bottles of it, pick up 2 bottles of it. And I would transfer them to eyedropper bottles, or dropper bottles, right? Like these kind of things. My lobby and medium is in a propylene eyedropper bottle, and I just took the label off, slapped it on there, just because, and yeah, that I would definitely recommend switching to a dropper bottle, because it's in a regular paint pot, and you run the risk of contaminating it, and just especially early on in a lot of people's painting lifetimes, that you're not always really super conscious about stuff. Even myself, I'm not always super conscious. Sometimes I'm just busy. I have my other thoughts going, and and I made a mistake. Oh well, so. Johnny's Chop Shop. After a long day of painting, what is the best way to clean your brush? Okay, well, I do have a few videos on this, Johnny, and I thought you were a Vault member. I have many videos on cleaning the paintbrush, but again, for anybody out there who's not familiar with this stuff, I use this stuff, Master's Brush Soap. Okay, there we go. Now this is a different size one. This one is a big one, because this one's for my big brushes, my canvas brushes, as it were. And so yeah, and that's all I use. If Vallejo, I've used their brush restore, and it's worked pretty well. It's nice and gentle. It breaks. Basically, whenever the paint is really bad up into the furrow, that's the kind of stuff you want to use. You want to use a brush restore that breaks down that paint. But if the paint is kind of up by the furrow, but it's not really that bad, like the hairs aren't going everywhere yet, it's still, it comes to a point, but you can see there's paint build up there. Use just the brush soap, run it through the water, clean it like normal, but then use a conditioner and let the soap sit on that area, and it'll help break down that paint on that area. Let it sit for like an hour or 2. Give it a good wash. See if there's any broken up. Again, leave a little bit of soap. Let it sit there and soak in, and break down that paint. I find that's one of the best ways. But otherwise, yeah, it's just regular maintenance with that brush soap. I have many videos on it. Even some of my videos on this channel, you'll see me like in some of my painting videos where I'm just kind of sitting at my desk painting, and you'll see my process for cleaning the brush. But I thought you were a Vault member, Johnny. But if you're not, you should be a Vault member. Dark Commission, I'm going to buy a new jigsaw and convert my old one into a bottle shaker. Yeah, see, you know what? I should head over to like one of the hawk shops or something and see if I can find an old jigsaw. You know what? Yeah, that's on my list. Pick up just a cheap, old jigsaw. I can't do it today, but at some point I should. Tavo ran into 3D printing solution to paint transferring recently. Posted in Discord. Wait, what? Ran into some 3D printed solution to paint transferring recently. Posted in Discord. Okay. You posted it in Discord? Okay, I'll check it out. Lewis, Kris, given your years of experience and skill with modeling and painting, do you find yourself still learning new things, or do you think you eventually reach a stage where you truly master the brush? Short answer is no. You're still learning, and you know I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Truly mastering the brush. I mean, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, is it the ability to use the brush to the maximum effect? Is it a particular technique to maximum effect? You know what I mean? All the above, right? So, no, I don't think I'm there. And I'm not sure a lot of painters out there would answer that they are as well. I think most good painters out there will answer that no, they're not a master of the paintbrush either. And you don't, because you're always learning and you're always trying new things. Any painter who is not trying new things and new techniques and expanding upon their repertoire, you know, that's fine too. I mean, but you know, I certainly hope they don't think that that they're the be all end all of painters, right? Because I mean, you know. But then again, I mean, it's different. I mean, because like for some painters, their aspirations are, you know, what I don't know, but they'll enter painting competitions, things of that nature, right? And you know, they win many awards and stuff like that. But then, can they teach you those things, right? They might not be. They might be socially awkward, and not have the capacity to teach, right? Which is fine. Versus a person like myself, where you know I do have the capacity to teach, and I do have the will to teach people, and you know elevate everybody, and you know what I mean, and you know, and so you know. But am I a master? No. Have I won a bunch of painting awards? No. It's not really what I aspire to, you know. If anything, I kind of like where this spot I've fallen into, which fallen would be the right word, of showing you guys how to get the most out of this hobby and also elevate, become more, and you know, and I like pushing everybody to be more, and you know what I mean. Sure, some of you out there just want to get your army painted. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some of you want to take it further. Some of you want to become more of an artist in this regard. And that's awesome. And I applaud you for that will and, you know, that strength of character to do something like that. And so I'm glad I'm here to play some sort of part. And you know, I like to think that I'm playing some sort of part in that as well. So, yeah. That was a long answer. That was a short and long. Old Man Logan. I was transferring all my GWs for a while. I have found it not to be worth doing. Interesting. And depending on what dropper bottles you use, they can have problems of their own. Dried out tips, cracked tips, etc. Oh, even like the propylene, you squeeze them one too many times, they sometimes bust on the seams, right? So it all depends on like what kind of bottles you get too. So I leave everything in the GW pots with the exception of Lamy and Medium. I always put that in a dropper bottle. Same here. Good call, old man. Nathaniel at Kris. Hi, Kris. Hi, Monkai. Hi. Tyler Bortel. Vallejo does make gloss black primer, and I love it. Okay, excellent. Good. There we go. So yeah, Vallejo does make a gloss black. I kind of figured they would. But yeah, if you're a fan of Vallejo stuff, I mean, I am. I'm still a fan of Vallejo paints. I love my Vallejo colors. Their fluorescents are awesome, and the metallics are great. You know, absolutely nothing wrong with Vallejo colors. Again, it's often availability. In North America, Vallejo colors, I've noticed in recent years there's been more available. But like when I started getting into Vallejo colors, which was, when the hell was that? That was early 2000. Like 2000, 2001, The Space Odyssey. Yeah, it was around that I started switching over from Citadel colors to Vallejos. I started including more Vallejos. But I had to order them, right? And, yeah. Yeah. Man, that's been a long time since I've been using Vallejos. Dark Commission. If anyone suggests reach around paint shaking, I'm out of here. All right. Nathaniel, Kris, putting a glass agitator into paint bottles, pots, makes shaking a lot easier. Yes, it does. With Citadel, I mean, I would recommend it for the metallics, definitely. But because the paint is so heavy-bodied, it takes a while for you to hear that agitator really start moving. I did it to some of my older Citadels, but I haven't done it to the new Citadel since they switched colors. So it's been a while. But with metallics, I definitely would always recommend it, no matter what company a metallic. Just because the metallics, for whatever reason, separate faster. Like, yeah, here we go. Look at it. This has only been sitting on my desk for like a week or so. And you can kind of see the medium separating. See that band of white on the top? That's the medium, right? But you give it a quick little shake. I can feel already the pigment moving around. And yeah, the band's gone, right? But I can still feel, yeah, the paint still flows really nicely. I can feel it. You know, so, oh, here's another example, right? This is what? Brass Scorpion. And you can see there's an orange band on it, right? This one feels a little thicker. But a quick shake gets rid of it, right? So, yeah, it's not too big a deal. But yeah, an agitator, I should put an agitator in those. I'll do it later. King 555. If you have a hurt wrist, use a nail polish shaker. Okay. Post a link. King. Post a link in Discord. In the general. Vile Valence, double monkey wrench. Nathaniel, don't ask that question. Don't do it. Darlene, CR19, CR10 SLA printer. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Tyler Bortel, I just painted a model that had been primed a few months back and found that the paint wouldn't stick. I've got several other models primed at the same time. Should I be concerned? Maybe. Because if you were playing with the models, then yeah, you might have a little layer of like oils build up on the models. If they were just sitting on the shelves, you might have to give them a really good dusting. A layer of dusting might be built up on the surfaces. Otherwise, yeah, the primer should just sit there, and it really shouldn't be anything. Unless, of course, maybe when you primed, you know, maybe you might have under-primed, over-primed, you know what I mean? If it is really that big an issue, I don't think it'd be a huge issue to strip the models, strip the primer off. Just give them a quick, you know, primer, you know, green stuff. Not green stuff. Wow, I can't even remember what the hell it's called. Simple green. Jeez Louise. Put them in a bath, simple green for a day. You know, it doesn't need to be a day, but I find a day is just make sure it gets a good soak. And then just take a nice firm plastic bristle brush and give them a good scrub-a-dub and reprime them. Let them dry and reprime them. Well, wash them, then rinse them off, then prime them. Yeah, Dr. Zentos, maybe it's dust. Yeah, it's possible it's a layer of dust. Shogun Ka, William Ka, Masters does make a bigger tub. Their oil, wax, and acid. Yeah, they do. It's like a margarine container sized of, yeah, it's big. I've never used that size, but yeah. Shogun Ka, William, acid brush cleaner is by Winsor Newton. Masters is oil-based. And it comes in bars if it's wax. Yeah. For cleaning oil paints, though, like for like my brushes, yeah, using regular vegetable oil has worked. As contrary as that might seem to your thinking, just using a bit of oil. That's really one of the best oil paint removers. Is the soap has oil in it. I never really thought about it until, you know, yeah. Because like, I mean, most of the time I'm playing with my miniatures and stuff like that, and you know, I'm thinking of the soap, and I've used the soap for years when I'm doing the things, but I never really gave it much thought as to why it was breaking it down, right? So, yeah. Anyway. Dr. Santos, Kris wants to push us to the limit. Walk along a razor's edge. Don't look down. Just keep your head, and we'll be finished. Yeah, possibly. You know. I mean, I like to think that some of you guys who pay attention to what I talk about, you know, want to expand upon your knowledge and, you know, do more and, you know what I mean, and be all you can be, as it were, to sound kind of cliche, but, you know, and I like to think I have some part in that, and, you know, I'm sure you guys take your influences from other sources as well. I mean, I know I'm not the only voice out there, but, you know, I like to think I have a part in your becoming a better painter. And, you know, who knows, some of you guys who are very serious about getting into this, becoming a competition type painter, you know, and you're saying, oh, you know, it's like the Academy Awards. And I'd like to thank Kris for, you know, pushing me to become a better painter, well, you know. Anyway, caulking. Vallejo paint comes 2 types of gloss. One is in the Mecha line of paint, and the other is the Stranded model line. Stranded model line? Okay. Goes to the Deluxe. I can feel it already. The paint moving around. Aaron Seach, love the fact that Turbo Dork already has agitators in their paints. Yes, I know, and you know what? That's the owner. I would assume. I'm going to assume. I don't know. I mean, we've talked briefly. I'm going to assume that was his thought process. He researched and thought about the best solution for metallics and MIG Ammo. Their paints, they come with agitators as well. And for their metallics, and I think the regular colors too come with that. I think all the paints have agitators in them. Anyway, Turbo Dork agitators, smart solution. Every paint company that does metallics should have agitators in their metallics, just to help the consumer really appreciate the paint and how it's going to work on their subject. Oh geez, Ben Ellis at Dark Commission. How about Dutch Rudder paint shake? That's a different video all entirely. Jim White, Kris is shaking up the complacency in painting miniatures. Or is shaking up complacency? Am I? Do you want me to? Tyler Bortel, models were played with. Oil makes sense. I'll strip and reprime. Thanks. Yeah, okay, so that's probably what it is then. You were playing with the models as they were primed, and it was like a year or so, and if you game often, yeah, you're going to have lots of contact on that surface. And yeah, even if it isn't just oil, the fact that your fingers are like a fine grit sandpaper, and so as you move your hands on that model surface, it's like a fine grit sandpaper moving around and wearing down that surface, and possibly wearing to the point where it's kind of smooth. And that's why the paint won't grab onto that surface, because primer is kind of like a very porous surface. It allows the paint to grab hold of and really kind of bind to it, versus something really, really smooth. It's just like glass, right? And you've seen paint on glass, it beads right up. No surface tension, right? There you go. I'm almost done my coffee here. Time we at here? Holy carmoles, we're already an hour in. Dark Commission, the Turbo Dork agitators are too small, I think. Got one wedged in the nozzles, so added my own SS bearings. Stainless steel, I assume. Interesting. Haven't heard anybody having any problems with the agitators, but yeah, interesting. Jabba's left nut. Kris doesn't shake his own paint, his own pots. It's in his contract. Mini wargaming employ a paint fluffer to shake them before he gets work done. Oh my lord. Twitchy Kratos. Cullen's morning task. Cullen's the paint fluffer. Oh my god, I gotta tell him that one. I'm sorry, folks. I get this. Too funny. Oh, jeez. While I try and recompose myself here, let's do an email. Headphones, turn them up or down, whichever. But here it comes. Email time. It's email time. Oh man! All right, let's head over to the email side of things. This one is from Thomas Wickham. He says, 2-pot day comparisons then and now. Oh, okay. So I've been seeing this a lot lately for some strange reason. A lot of people are doing this, old and, old and now kind of thing. And so I guess this is in that kind of vein. Anyway, hey, Kris, I'm pretty proud of my decades-long progress from, wait, what do you mean thin paint? And Sharpie isn't primer? Sharpie? Wow. Well, let's see how I can wet blend this. Oh, let's see how I can wet blend this. That's awesome. Here's a selection of my Tau from 2004 to 2017, which was my first anything and my latest projects of Death Guard, where I've tried hard to practice gradients, wet blending, and focused highlights done neatly. Any comments on how I can achieve smooth gradients while wet blending? Went blending. The second time I went blending. Anyway, I feel like I often, add purple. Well, I replace the pink with purple. Let's add pink. Oops, I replaced the purple. And it's a back and forth process. Thanks, MWG Val Valence. And so here are his Tau from early on. Whoops, wrong. Whoops, wrong. There we go. Whoops. Yeah. I wonder why that's like that. Let's move it over just a couple degrees here. Hopefully that doesn't mess it up, right? Because that's email. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Okay. I got it right. I don't know. Somebody's been monkeying with my screens, I think. Anyway, so here's his early work. And it's pretty darn good. Well, the buddy on the far left, that's an early paint job. But you know what? You were off to a really good start. The paint looks a little bit heavy. You're almost to that point where it looks like you're almost starting to obscure details with the red, but I suspect that's probably with your priming. Then the gold Tau doesn't look bad. I mean, yeah, it's an early paint job, but And then the Tau on the right, it looks like you were doing a little bit of dry brushing there with a little bit of edging. It looks pretty darn good. Then there's this guy right now. I'm going to assume this is how you're painting now. Maybe? Oh, doing this damn thing here. Okay, so we're doing edging. We're playing with color. It's really good. It's a good tabletop. And so Nurgle, we got some, screw off with the sideways thing. So we want to get into some color blends and wet blending and such. Now the purples look really striking. Because I can't quite zoom in on this for some reason. Well, on the cowl, I'm looking at the cowl and some of the tubage. The tubage? Anyway, and the blends don't look bad. I think what you need to do is, do a little bit of edging. Yeah. Like the cloak there, the purple on the cloak looks really good. Going to the pink, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, with purple, you can push it towards blue. Like add like a Baharoth blue as your highlight color and then slowly bring the color up, That way you have purple in the recesses and blue in the high points. I think I've shown something like that in the past. Yes, you can use pink. You could use red, The only time it starts to look really weird is start going into greens and yellows. You'll start heading towards more like browns and such, and it'll look like a mess. Just don't do it. But heading into the pink or red spectrums or blue spectrum is fine, because basically purple, right, is in between red and blue in the color wheel. So, it can head back in either direction and it still looks pretty good. But your blends here look okay. Yeah, I'm zooming in here. And like just looking at a standpoint of the color blending, I'd say it's really good. I think what you could do more, and it looks like you kind of did it on like the on the folds up by close to the backpack. It looks like you start throwing on some little smaller edge highlights, and I think that's what you need along the bottom portion of the cloak with all the little tatters and everything like that. I think you need a little bit more of that brighter color down on those points and do a fine edging there. Be very deliberate. Now, when doing, when playing with other techniques, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. I think when doing other techniques, and you're trying wet blending and stuff like that, don't get caught up in the technique. I mean, sometimes you do get caught up in the technique, and you're playing with color, and you're watching how the paint moves along the surface, and you kind of get lost in those moments. Because it happens to me all the time when I'm really getting into my painting. That's when you know that you really enjoy this, is when you can get lost in the surface as the color moves and you're doing a blend, or or you're even just following the lines, and you're just kind of lost in the moment. That's how you know you really enjoy this. And so basically, I can't remember where I was going with any of this now. Wow, my memory's going. But anyway, yeah, so doing the blends, oh yeah, that's right, that's where I was going with this. So don't get caught up too much in, say, applying one technique and then being done, right? Using multiple techniques to achieve your desired result is where you want to go. Use blendings, right? Wet blending to achieve blends, and then for fine edgings and stuff like that, use an edge technique or layering, or or even glazing, right? You can do wet blends and then glaze on top just to finish off some color transitions, right? Start playing with many brush techniques, and you find that you'll start to become more of a complete kind of painter. And no painting situation will cause anxiety or anything like that. You know what I mean? You'll be able to go, oh, okay, I can do this here, I can do that there. I'll create a wet blend here, and I'll do some edging here, and maybe a quick dry brush to pick up this texture, and you know what I mean? And you'll use all the techniques, and you'll become a much more complete painter. And then you can really start to master techniques, and then the next thing that you'll really want to start to master is color itself. You'll want to wield it in your hands, and learn how to really convey those feelings in a model, you know what I mean, with the use of color. That's where the next spot you go. And that's just something with time, practice, and of course experimentation and learning about color. That's where you really want to be, to have a very complete look on on painting. Miniatures Den is raiding with a party of 41. Oh, man. Well, thank you, Miniatures Den. Awesome. Miniatures Den. Wait, did I just host a YouTube video? No, I'm live. I'm here. Miniatures Den. Acid burn. I think so. No, I'm here. What's going on? What's happening? Don't know. I'm here. Yeah, Tahoe, surprise monkey music. Yeah, I know. Go start Deluxe. That sudden intro scared the shit out of me. I know. I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong button. I kind of wish that the way OBS worked is that it kind of had like large buttons. Like normally on the Windows machine, I have XSplit, and it's got nice big buttons, so I can just book, and touch the buttons, and Whereas OBS, it's just like a little tab in a list, and you gotta click them, kind of thing, right? Maybe there is another function for it. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, Cocking, you are being rated on Twitch. Yes, I am being rated. Johnny's Chop Shop. Don't scare the monkeys. Don't scare the monkeys. Please don't. Philip Wilkinson just inspired me to get back to painting. Thanks. Yes, awesome. I'm glad that because oftentimes it is hard to rekindle that kind of spark. You know what I mean? And it's really, really hard. Oh crap! Yeah, Jim. You're absolutely right. Miniatures Den. Hello. Hey, hello. No problem, man. How's it going? Awesome. Johnny Chop Shop over on Twitch. Don't scare the monkeys. That stash is glorious. Flickster. Thank you. Thank you. Jim White. Thank you, Beer and Blood Bowl, for that intro music. I know. I forgot to thank Carl, a.k.a. Guy Muir Alpha, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. For doing the jingle for our email segment that I was bad, Kris. And I forgot to say it in the beginning of the show. Man, you guys gotta remind me more. You know what I should do? I should write down my intro spiel, and I should just have it like right on the thing, like a teleprompter, just right there, just so that's always the same. And you know what I mean, for consistency's sake. Not because I'm forgetting what I'm talking about all the time. Although, I know I have been forgetting what I've been talking about lately a lot. Not just with you guys. It's on other stuff as well. I've been forgetful. I don't know. Maybe I need some more ginseng or something in my diet. Vile Valence, you touch those buttons, Kris. Ooh, touch them. Jim White, 2 emails, of course. 2 emails, of course. Yep. AcidBurn413. Hey, man, I love your tutorials and etc. Great stuff. Thank you, AcidBurn. Thank you. Hopefully you learned something and, you know, continue to enjoy the videos. I haven't produced any new quick tips lately because I've been working on a brand new series for Mini Wargaming, the Painting Academy. Now, I would assume a lot of you guys tuning in right now are more intermediate. I assume you guys consider yourself more intermediate, but some of you guys might consider yourself more brand new too. But the whole new Painting Academy is designed for everybody who's brand new to this hobby. For a lot of people out there, you know, it's so confusing sifting through all the information out there. It's, you know what I mean? It's just a big soupy mess of information, and it's overloading, and it's like, where do I start? Where do I begin? I have no ideas. This is just all so confusing. There's so much information out there. The Painting Academy is going to cut through a lot of that minutia and show you the quickest way to get stuff done. It's not like a lot of, you know, tricks or anything like that. It's just solid foundation. We can get into the other more advanced, more intermediate type stuff later on, color theory and techniques and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So, yeah. Anywho, Voodoo Chill on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm on both right now. Yes, I'm on both. Oh, Voodoo Chill, hello. When I started painting, you were on one of the very first painters I started watching. Oh, on YouTube. Oh, well, thank you, Voodoo. Thank you. I hope you know, you continue to watch and maybe learn something. I don't know. Or, you know, when people ask questions, feel free to chime in with your Voodoo Chili. Sorry, Voodoo Chili. You know, if you consider yourself more of an intermediate or advanced painter and you find that, you know, you have something to share when people ask questions, I fully encourage you to you know, chime in and, you know, lend your expertise because, you know, again, that's what this is all about. Of course, we also have the Discord channel where we all share information and, you know what I mean? And of course, we're sharing some laughs as well as, you know, the monkeys are monkeys and some of them are kind of, I think some of them might be mentally off. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so. Ben Ellis. Kris, it's live. Don't beat the monkey, dude. Slapping self. Ebb and Flow. Kris, I've got to split, heading off to the cabin for a few days. Oh, cool. Awesome. Nathaniel. Kris, I'm thinking of doing a beginner. You're thinking of doing a beginner. Don't, no, I'm not going there. I was about to make a joke. I'm not going there. Voodoo Chili, like child without the D. Voodoo child. Yeah, I got you. But Voodoo Chili. Voodoo Chili. Haha, I spelled it funny. I spell funny. I spell it funny. Ben Ellis. Kris, the Painting Academy is a great idea. I will be looking for one on wet blending if you already got one up online. Well, I do have a bunch of quick tips on wet blending. Just go into the Mini Wargaming search if you're a Vault member, right? And, you know, just type in wet blending and a bunch of videos should pop up. So, and if they don't, then let me know and I can point you to some vids. Oftentimes I know, like when early on when I was helping Old Man Logan kind of navigate through some of the videos, he wasn't finding what he was looking for because, again, our Vault, it can be kind of tricky sometimes to find what you're looking for. And that's something we have addressed and, you know, we are working on. So, you know, let me know. If you're having problems navigating the Mini Wargaming Vault, shoot me a message and say, hey, Kris, I'm looking for this kind of video. You know, did you make one? And, you know, I'll give it a look. And, yeah. So, yeah. Warlander TV. What up, everyone? Well, what up? Dr. Zantos, the monkeys are unhinged. They are unhinged. The monkeys can get quite wild sometimes. But I have to say, though, for the most part, like 99% of the time, the monkeys are very well behaved. And so, yeah. Awesome stuff, guys. Of course, you know. Very little. We've very rarely had to ban anybody. And yeah, so it's rare. It has happened, but it's rare. Nathaniel, Kris, damn lag. I retracted that last message. Retracted what message? About doing the beginner? I still see it. You might have not pulled it, but my feed that shows me both YouTube and Twitch, it's still there. You didn't retract nothing. Ben Ellis, thanks. I'll look in the vault tomorrow. Yeah, if you're looking for videos on wet blending, you know, there's a few videos where they're more instructional, and there's other videos where I show it just like quickly, like on capes or armor or, you know, other things. You kind of have to go through. I think really what it is, what we got to do next for the videos in the vault is particular videos that showcase a particular technique. Those should also be tagged as well. So, like, for example, like when I'm painting a Space Marine, if I use wet blending, and I was painting yellow, and you know what I mean? And so all those things should be properly tagged, and I don't know if they are. So again, it's just something we got to refine. Because there's a lot. There's 1,100 videos, I think, in the vault. Let me see. Let me go to Mini Wargaming right now. Let's go to Mini Wargaming right now. Okay? And I'm going to go over to videos. All videos. Is it all videos? Or is it vault videos? No, I messed it up. Let's go vault. Exclusive vault. There it is. And then it's tag cloud. The tag cloud, now the tag cloud's not complete. But let's see here. Under the tag cloud, we have 1,020. So I think some of the videos might have got mislabeled because I'm pretty sure that was up to 11 something, I think, for quick tips. So quick tips, there's 1,020 videos. Quick tips. And each of those videos, even some of them might be on the same kind of subject. They're different. So like, for example, like say painting white. There might be like 3 videos on painting white, but I've shown how 3 different ways of doing it. So, you know, some of them might have recurring themes, but I've shown different techniques per. Because I mean, like, you know, people ask me all the time, like, how do I paint white? And I like to try and have multiple ways that maybe you're more comfortable with on accomplishing your goals, right? So, yeah. Painting videos. There's 1,474 painting videos. And it looks like I'm responsible for 1,351 of them somehow. That doesn't sound right. But maybe, I don't know. Tutorials, 13. But I think that's terrain videos as well and such. So there's a lot in Mini Wargaming's vault. So if you're not a vault member, man, I mean, you don't know what you're missing. But like I said, you can try it out for free for 7 days. Get the silver. Make sure you get the silver. Warlander TV bans himself for only finding this channel now. Yeah, I do this show every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always do this show. Almost every week. And I've recently started doing Sundays. I think I'm going to have it as a regular occurrence. Basically, it's like a Way of the Brush rerun. It's a classic Way of the Brush. And so tomorrow will be episode 12, you know. I mean, if everybody on Twitch wants to head over to YouTube, check it out. Feel free, right? But yeah, just for something to do, you know. But like I said, I only ever charge for Way of the Brush this, like, live. Anyway. Ben Ellis, release the monkeys. It's like release the Kraken, release the monkeys. Ghost Starman Deluxe, calling the monkeys unhinged implies we were, at some point, hinged. True, right? It's kind of like, I used to be with it, then they changed what it was. Now what's it? It's strange and unusual. Ben Ellis, Kris, is there a way to delete my videos from Mini Wargaming page as something went wrong when I uploaded the files? Delete your videos from Mini Wargaming page. I'm not sure what page. Like, send me a private message. Well, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about there. What you talking about, Willis? Matthew Perez, out for lunch, heading to Warhammer store for medium to find bottles. Everyone take care. See y'all next week. Y'all. That's for the Texan viewers. Everybody who's in Texas, y'all. He's gonna head over. Matthew's y'all. I messed that up. Acid Burn 413. How do you have that many and no real repetition? Spelling. How do I have that many videos with no real repetition? Short answer is, really, if you think about it, there is repetition. Long answer is showing different techniques, different painting products, different just different systems and different ways of doing things. And also a lot of the videos, and I've talked about this many times in Way of the Brush, you know, there's oftentimes many ways to get to the same result when painting. So, you know, and of course, doing the quick tips and answering those questions and finding new ways to answer questions also kind of help motivate me to become better, to become more knowledgeable, to help you guys, and, you know, expand my knowledge, because, you know, I'm familiar with the brush techniques, but then I was like, well, how can I apply it this way? And how can I apply it this way? And you know what I mean? And I'm always looking for new ways. And so I'm always watching sometimes other people when they're painting and such. And you know what I mean? Because somebody might be onto a new way of doing something that's more efficient than maybe something the way I'm doing it. And I'm an open book, and I'm willing to learn even from others who might even be less experienced than me or more experienced than me. You know what I mean? But if somebody, you know, I'm always kind of like watching a lot of new people, because somebody who's brand new to this, they're not caught up in all the other dogma of all this painting stuff. And so they might come up with a brand new solution that might be more efficient. They just all of a sudden just thought outside the box and said, you know what, I'm going to do it this way. And it's like, that's brilliant. I would have never thought of it. It never occurred to me to even think of doing it that way. And that's why that's what I'm always watching out for. I'm always watching out for somebody doing it different, doing it better, doing it more efficient, because I'll totally borrow their idea. I mean, you know, because because I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, and so I'm always on the lookout for something new and something different. And you know, I don't see it a lot, honestly, but every once in a while I do, and I do include it into the repertoire. And it gets incorporated, kind of like the Borg. I assimilate it into the collective. Yeah, I'm a big Star Trek nerd too. Johnny Chop Shop. These monkeys could change our understanding of human history. Gotta say it all dramatic like that. These monkeys could change our understanding of human history. These monkeys could change our understanding of human history. I was supposed to do it like all Shakespeare. These monkeys could change our understanding of human history. Ben knows. Thanks, Chris. No problem. Yeah, so send me a private message, Ben. Whatever you're trying to navigate through or whatever your problem you're having, yeah. If it's something with mini wargaming, I'm sure I can try and help you. If not, I can put you in contact with those that, you know, will help you better than I can. Which there's a lot of people. Dark Commission. We should have a Way of the Brush t-shirt with evolution going backwards, ending in a monkey with a paintbrush. That's a good idea. I like that. Of course, you're making more work for me now, but yeah. Acid Burn 413. So it's a non-viscous cycle? Viscous? So it's a non-vicious cycle? I can't read. Yeah. Flickster. Dogma? You just mean they are sweet, innocent, and untainted. Yes, exactly. Whereas like somebody like myself, I have all sorts of foibles going on. Things that hinder my ability. You know what I mean? And so somebody who's brand new to this, they're not hindered by those things. They're innocent. They're pure. They're untainted. Yes, exactly. And so when they encounter a problem, they go, oh, I could do this and this. Because, you know, maybe they don't have the resources to put behind just buying all the paints, right? And so they're being very selective, and they go, you know what, geez, I found that when I used with these paints, with this particular thing, and I was doing this, I found this. And it's like, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? And that kind of thing is what I'm always on the watch out for. Is that level of brilliance. Innovation. You know? Something I think worthwhile sharing because, you know. And of course, I credit people when I see something that, you know, I think is just brilliant, and you know, yeah, I always credit them. Try to, anyway. Let's do another email. Headphones. Turn them up or down, but here it comes. Email time. So let's head over to the emails. This one is going to be from our good buddy, Ben Ellis. Hello again, monkeys and monkey lord. I received a Secret Santa at my local store in... Oh, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Leicester? Is it Leicester in the UK? Leicester? Leicester? Kester? Leicester? Anyway. As it turns out, we were all trying to see each other off. So, unsurprisingly, we all brought each other orcs as none of us collect them. As a result, here is this week's offering consisting of 3 orc bikers, 3.5 on some new resin bases. Regards, Ben. P.S. I'm not too sure on how heavy to go with weathering powder. Okay, very interesting. So let's jump into Ben's offerings here. Let's go. Now, why does that do that? Why did that jump over like that? Why? Why? I ask you why. I think I had a better image the other way. Yeah, we'll leave it here for a moment. I like color scheme. As we've seen in previous examples of Ben's painting, your mastery of dry brushing is spot on. Some of you might be thinking that purple and the orange on the hairs there, that is airbrushed. I don't think it is. I think it's dry brushed, knowing Ben, because Ben is a really great painter. Just a cursory glance of this, I think your use of the weathering powder is right on. Did you seal it? Hopefully you sealed it. Now, when you seal it, it will reduce the effect down a bit. So you can always come in with a bit more and then seal that, and you know what I mean? And just so that if you're playing with these models, that they don't, transfer onto your hands, and then you kind of just get the weathering powder everywhere. It just becomes a huge pain, really. Oh, let's switch cameras here. There we go. So, yeah. So, really great work. Nice and clean. Consistent with your paint style, man. Again, anybody who's thinking that maybe Ben used an airbrush for a lot of his color transitions, you'd be wrong. If you know Ben, you know that he's he's very proficient with his dry brushing. Really nice work on the orc flesh. Yeah. Ben, definitely, dude. I think you've got a really great handle on dry brushing. And I think, personally, I think you are ready to move on into other techniques, edging, glazing, wet blending, feathering, what have you. Just pick one and just give it a shot. Really great work. I see some mold lines, but I think you're just painting these up for fun, right? You just something to do something different, and that's a really fantastic idea. I think, just so you don't get bored of your own armies, right? Just to pick, do something fun like this where you just kind of just go wild on a different set of models, just different techniques. And, the weathering powders look really good on the base. I don't think it's too much. I think it's about the right amount. Looks good. It's nice and dusty. I mean, you're the judge of it, right? So, if you think it's too much, then maybe it is too much. If you think it's too little, it might be, right? So, there is always that. The OSL on the headlamp of the middle bike, that's pretty good. I don't think you would have a lot of light catching on top of the shock to the left of the lamp. Well, I guess it's coming from that lamp, but even still, I don't think a lot of the light would be that close to the lamp. I think it'd be a little further down. And I don't know if you'd get that little... I see on the right-hand side of the spikes in the center of the shock absorber in the front. I don't think you'd get light gathering in there. And same with the front edge of the tire. I think it would only be on, you know what I mean? But again, it's really great stuff. Really nice work. Yeah, can we get some close-ups of this? Oh, this thing's gonna... Okay, well, we're just more concerned with the technique. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that your light would gather as close as you might be thinking. And also the lamps themselves, I think you could have left more brighter color in between the grill points, right? And the actual grill, like on the lamp on the lower portion, like that grating that goes over the light, or the imagined grating that over that light, that would actually be a little bit darker, right? And the light is supposed to be emanating from those small points in the inside. But otherwise, really great work, Ben. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, these are a good example of a high tabletop standard. Just really fantastic work. Just fantastic. Really good stuff, man. Again, you know, I think we talked about it in previous episodes. I think you're ready to move on to other techniques. I mean, it looks like you've got a really great handling of thinning your color, you know, you know, laying a nice smooth base coat. Obviously, dry brushing, especially confined areas, and, you know what I mean, not getting a lot of overlapping of your color, you know, dry brushing, brush strokes, things of that nature, messing up, you know, your other parts of the model. I think you got a really great handle on it. So, yeah. Awesome work, dude. Where are we in these comments? Flickster. It's Lester? Is it Lester? Is it Lester? Okay. I don't know, man. Ghost Starman Deluxe. It is pronounced Lester. Okay. Thank you. Jim White. Nice painting. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Real good conversion job. Dark Commission at Ben. I'm a fan of your work. You've not disappointed again. Yes, definitely. Ben Ellis. Only dry brush today. Oh, I didn't seal it, but the base was damp when applied. Damp with what? Did you dampen it with mineral spirits? Because oftentimes that's what I use for pigments. I use mineral spirits and then I seal it. You know, I do a light gloss over it. That reduces the color of the pigment down a bit, and it reduces the intensity and like the dryness of it. And then I'll come in with like another quick little layer, and then give it another sealant, and then, you know, it's usually where I want it at. But I do a gloss, and then if need be, I'll hit it with a matte, but usually I don't. Where are we? Everybody commenting on how much they like Ben's work. Awesome stuff. Yeah, definitely. And you know what? And of course, you know, and this applies to everybody out there. Feel free to share. I mean, you know, it's not like anybody's gonna go, "Oh man, your paint jobs are crap," and you know, what are you doing? You know, like just being really rude. You know, that's not what this show is about. This show is about encouraging everybody to be better. You know, because not everybody is great. Myself, you know, any artist you talk to, they're gonna say, no, they're not the best. Hopefully, if they have humility and, you know, and strength of character, I would assume, they'll say, no, they're not the best. So, Disco Duke, hi all, late, but I've managed to catch some. How long is left? Well, as I'm reading this comment, you've got 26 minutes. 26 minutes, because I'm going to try and cut her off at 2 o'clock today. I'm afraid I won't be able to jump into Discord after the show today, because I'm heading off to go to a show with the family, spend some time with the family today, and so, yeah, we're gonna go probably see Aquaman. I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers. No spoilers. Don't spoil it for me. I hate spoilers, man. I hate when the trailers are too damn long, and they pretty much show the whole movie. That pisses me off. It just, you know, completely unnecessary. Like, you know, come on. Ben Ellis, wet with paint. Oh, okay, so you laid the paint down and then you applied your pigments. Interesting. I've not tried that. That's interesting. Did you find that the pigments blended and created like a blend for you, or did you? You might have to send me another email and talking about that process and your experience with that, because I've never done that. I've only ever used mineral spirits on top of dry paint to apply pigment. I've used alcohol before as well, iso alcohol. I found that mineral spirits, I just get a better buzz with the fumes, you know. So, yeah, that's really a big difference. Nathaniel, something is wrong with the sound. It muffles every now and then. is that only me experiencing that? I don't know. Is it me? Is my son? I don't know. Am I having issues? I might be having issues. It's possible. Again, you know, feel free to tell me. And you know what? I find it's better if you say it on Twitch, because Twitch, I can see it a lot faster on Twitch. Just because, I don't know. Twitch just seems to stream faster. YouTube, it seems like it's good, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Whereas Twitch, it seems like it's 5 seconds. So, yeah. Anyway. Geofit, spoiler alert. There's water. It's in water? Really? Thanks. Ghost Starman Deluxe, Aquaman review, 7 out of 10. Too much water. Ben Ellis, just dry brushed, a little heavier than normal, and then hope for the best. Oh, okay. Interesting. David Norman, thanks for the info on metallic. Where do I post a pic? I have been painting for like 3 months, and I complete my 3rd min, and I think I did a decent job, and I would love to hear people's thoughts. Send it to Kris@miniwargaming.com. KRIS. The link is in the description below. Just click the link in the description below. And yeah, send me an email. Send me an email. Or you can post, or you can head over to wayofthebrush.com, and we have the Facebook page. We also, send me an email. If you have pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send me links off to other sites and stuff like that, because I just ain't going to do it. Attachments. Just because oftentimes when you have those other photo sharing sites, they often have ads running and stuff like that, and I just don't want to be having advertisements on my thing that I'm not advertising, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, David, just send me an email, Kris@miniwargaming.com. Again, it's in the description below. Ben Ellis, Kris, the audio is good on my side. Okay, yeah, so, yeah. I don't know. Don't know. Geofits, Aquaman review. Couldn't dry brush because there was too much water. Ha ha. Har har. Har har. Har. Hardy har. Hardy har. Oh my god. You guys are just too damn funny these days. Just too damn funny. Let's do another email. In fact, I think this is the last one of the show. I only had 3 emails this week. So, you know, again, you guys, keep the emails rolling in, because otherwise these shows will be short, and you know, I just won't do them. I just won't do them. Just to cheese all the monkeys off. I just won't do them. Let's do one more song intro, because, you know, because we just love Carl's work, aka Guymere Offer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. If you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl, definitely check out his channel. And of course, we always say thank you to him for taking the time out of his busy day to create these jingles that we all know and love. Well, at least some of us. But anyway, headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. Email time. Email time. And so this one is from our good buddy, Dark Commission. It's a new bust he's working on. Anybody familiar with Dark Commission? His painting is just fantastic. And he's been doing a lot of busts these days. I don't know. Have you always been doing just bust, Dark Commission? I thought early on you sent us some 40k stuff. But either way. Hi, mightiest of mighty ones. Here is my latest bust. It is called Daughter of the Dragon. It's a bit experimental in that I have used color shift paints for her silk clothing. Attempted some proper freehand painting for her dragon and tiger art, and painted an electric pattern on her swords. The Chinese symbols are right shoulder, dragon, left shoulder, daughter, front panel, tiger. I have painted her face with makeup, and I drove a 10-mile round trip to fetch 16p, 27 Canadian cents worth of ribbon for her hair, using about 1p worth. LOL. I have the overall model, which looks way better to the naked eye, but I don't really know whether it has worked or not. So your CNC are crucial and most appreciated. Hope you enjoy. Cheers, John, aka Dark Commission. And so let's have a look at this fantastic brand new bust he's been working on. And here we go. Why doesn't that feel big enough? Either way. So he free-handed the symbol like on the tabard, on the cloth, and on the shoulders he also added. The lightning on the swords, I think like from here, I think it looks really, really great. I think like, because it looks like they're metallic and then with an opaque color on top. I think I would have had a little bit more of a color, probably like a blue, just to go along with her silk and her cloth work and her hair ribbon. I think I would have gone with that kind of level of blue, and then with just fine whites in there. I think just to, you know, again, to kind of carry color themes across. The use of the color shift for the cloth, I think, is very, very cool. I think it's a lot of fun. And yes, this probably looks amazing in person. Just because color shift is just so damn fun, and and that looks like blue raspberry to me for her belt, and it looks like silk. Like even in this picture, like it looks like silk. Now, mind you, that is the paint achieving all that fantastic luster on there, and all the highlights and lowlights and all the shadows and stuff like that. But that's the nature of the paint doing that. That's not like, you know, you created all those artificially and just painted it with that way. But in person, yes, I'd imagine this looks fantastic. On her armor, it looks great. I think just a little bit more highlighting and just some corners of stuff, like the armor bands. Like the leather armor feels like it has the feeling of leather, like on her van braces. Is it van braces on the forearms? Is that what it is? Van brace? Anyway, on those, that feels very natural. But I think pushing the highlight just a little bit further, I think, especially at like some corner points where to create kind of an artificial shine, to give the leather kind of that like when it has a very matte appearance like this, it feels like a very old, kind of worn out leather, almost like suede, right? It almost feels like suede, and that's what that kind of looks like. Whereas if you were just pushing the highlights just a little bit further on some of the key points, like up by her knuckles, up by the wrist and the folds on the wrist and everything like that, if you push those highlights just a little bit brighter, just like kind of created some sharp highlights there, I think it might give it a bit more of a shinier kind of look, like a bit more of like a saddlebag, or you know what I mean, like that kind of old leather, like it's kind of well worn, and you know it's it just has a bit more of a shine. It's, you know what I mean. But fantastic. I like the tones on the skin. Her eyes look really, really good in this picture. Let's zoom in a bit here. Yeah, I think around her eye socket, I think, you know, coming in with, say, like almost not black, but like just like where her separate her eyelids from her eyeball, a little bit more separation there. I think I would have went with something like a deep red, not black. You could go black just because like it would represent like her eyelashes, because it's like she has no eyelashes kind of thing, right? It's really good highlights and such on her flesh. Yeah, I think I would have had just a little bit of blue in that lightning. And it does, is it a metallic? I can't see the chat at the moment here. Let me quickly just, oh no, I can't do that. Oops. But anyway, yeah, I can't quite look at the chat at the moment, so I can't see if you're responding to what I said. But the freehanding of the symbols on the shoulders and the tabard look really, really great. I like the inclusion of the actual fabric for tying back her hair. That's awesome. The cloth, metallics in the cloth, is just a really great idea. Just giving her that really kind of awesome silk kind of look. Yeah, see here, like on her hip armor, that leather looks really, really great. That looks like leather. Like, don't get me wrong, like all the leather areas look like leather, but I think I would have pushed the highlights just a little bit more, or maybe the shadow points, just to get because it has that worn feeling. I think I would have pushed just a little bit more. But her face looks really good. It's the right amount of highlight, I think, especially like on her forehead and her nose, a little bit on her chin. She has, it looks like there's a bit of a sheen to her skin, which it gives her a very, you know, natural, and it creates a good visual contrast to the armor and the silk of her clothing. I think is really great. I like those visual contrasts like that, like when you're actually looking at the model. Her scabbard, very nice. The freehanding of that dragon on the back, that's awesome. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, that's really, really nice, man. That's really, really good. Yeah, I like the color shift for her belt and the metallics for the... Yeah. Yeah, I think my biggest criticism, I would say, is I think I'd like to see a little bit of blue in that lightning in the swords. And I think just a little bit... a bit more of a contrast in some of those leather sections on her armor, like just a bit more of a contrast there, just, you know. But I'm sure in person this probably looks really, really awesome, because I mean the texture of the surface. Oh, it even goes down further with the dragon. That's really cool. Yeah, that's really good stuff, man. Yeah, that would be it, man. That's the only things I can think of that, you know. Yeah, I bet in person that this is, it probably looks like she's about to start moving, right? She probably looks like she's about to just start moving, just lifelike. Oh, I didn't even see it on her chest here. Oh, yeah, great, because she has a tiger on her chest. That's right. Yeah, that's really good stuff, dude. I like, I like it. I think it has a lot of character, and like I said, those are the only things I could think of that, you know, would be anything to, you know, improve upon it. But I mean, like, as it is right now, I don't think you have to go back or anything like that. If I was to go back, I'd probably tint that lightning. Just give it a light tinting, like in a clear blue, and just tint that lightning and just kind of push. Well, I guess I would push the blue out towards the ends of the bolts of lightning, so it's a little bit brighter white at the base, but still kind of on the blue side of things, and then getting a little bit richer blue out towards the ends of the fingers of lightning. Just a bit. I'm not talking about a very stark contrast, but just throw a little bit of blue there, because it'll bounce on that gold of those blades, and because the model is predominantly really quite warm, and so it makes that belt really stand out. And I think that the blue on the blades, just the way that the piece is, I think having that blue and then the blue of the blade, her hair ribbon, and then the blue of the blade, like that kind of just keeps it all just kind of framed nicely, I think. So definitely, I think like that would be the only biggest thing. The leather, the highlights on the leather, it's not necessary. I think I would have just liked a little bit more contrast in that regards, but otherwise, no, not necessary. Just that lightning. That's the only thing. Just a little bit of blue night lightning, I think, would be it. Knitfink. That's a good idea for the color shift paint for fabric. I wish there was a video to see if it looked like brocade. Maybe we'll have to do something like that. Do a brocade on a fabric in color shift. It would have to be kind of big though. Doing the brocade. Yeah, it would have to be kind of big, I think, on the surface. Just so that you get all that color shifting, you know? This is color shifting, by the way. For anybody who doesn't know what color shifting is, that's color shifting. It's this sort of thing. Tyler Bortel, great work, but probably way better in person. On camera, the underclothes look like she's wearing trash bags. Yeah, because it's got a rich green color to it. Yeah. I don't think he means it's like trash. I mean, it's, you know, just, I think he gets it. Ben Ellis, wow, the face is ace, dude. Yes, the face was really, really good. Oh yeah, and the eyes. I think I'd create a little bit more separation from the white of her eyes and her eyelids. Just a little bit of separation there. But that'd be it. David Norman, I sent the photo. Sorry about the quality taken on my phone. Look forward to hearing everyone's opinion and pointers. Awesome. Yeah, I think we probably get to that one in the next episode, possibly. Unless, of course, maybe we're not too pressed with comments. Sorry, I'm just kind of quickly searching through. Tavo, it's hair on her face. Thought it was a tattoo of sorts from the side shot. Dark Commission, scale 75, white alchemy on the sword. Oh, okay, the lightning is white alchemy. Okay, well, you can still add like a bit of blue. You could throw like you know, like use a color like Gilliman blue. Like it's a clear blue, right? And just very thinly, and just apply it just over the lightning. If you want, or don't, by any means. You know, I just think the blue would help. You know, with the belt, her headband, and then having those, and you know, it just kind of helps the eye just, you know, moving around. And I think it would also balance out a bit because she's so predominantly warm feeling, right? G Squared, fantastic painting. Yes, fantastic painting. Well, I mean, Dark Commission. I mean, it's Dark Commission. I mean, we're coming to expect this kind of stuff from him. And you know what? That's kind of the downside of being known as a really good painter. Is everybody all the time expects really great work from you, right? Which is fair and unfair at the same time, I suppose. Like, you know, if any of you out there who might happen to be the best painter in your painting group, right? You are known as the painter in your painting group, right? Or your gaming group, or what have you, right? And so, you know, the expectation is all the time that you're the one with the best looking army, you know? So anytime you might quickly do a paint job and it's not, you know, you're just like, I just wanted to get it done. And everybody goes, well, that's not your best work. Like, what was going on? I mean, and then you got to field a whole bunch of questions like, oh, my Lord, okay, well, hold on. And, you know what I mean? Then you got to do more, right? And the expectation is that your army should always be competition, golden demon kind of levels, right? So, you know. At least in my experience, anyway. Tavo. Got the exact same initial thought about the green fabric, looking like a trash bag leg, but if I recall, silk shirts do look quite shiny. Yeah, and and I bet when you're looking at that in person, that's how it reads. It reads like that really expensive silk, right? So, yeah. Grim over on Twitch. That's really neat. Yes, it is. Disco Duke. Nice freehand patterns on the leather. Yes, very nice freehanding. The dragon on the back and the tiger on the front was really, really great. You know, effective, very, very effective. You know, I mean, one could say, could you went brighter with it? Sure, but then it might start to look a little cartoony, right? And so, you know, where do you go? And I think he went the right call with the level of intensity of red on those surfaces. I don't think if you went brighter, I think it would look kind of cartoony, and you know, no. Dark Commission, I forgot to shade the leather before weathering. You can still add the shade afterwards, and you can incorporate the shade as part of bringing in that texture and such, right? Like some of those nick marks and stuff like that, adding like a little bit of shade into those points to give kind of like that faux kind of depth and everything like that, the weathering, you know? Just some ideas. Darlene, what is the name of the paint on the clothes? Well, it's do I have it? I thought I had it here. I guess I don't. It is Blue Raspberry from Turbo Dork. Well, Turbo Dork is the paint. They don't have these labels, but they have these really fantastic color shift paints. I have a couple of them here. This one's Radium. Kind of hard to see in the camera here. The color shift through golds and blues and greens. This one here I've got is Shell Shock. This one kind of goes from golds to purples, which is not really showing up on camera right now. It's because my lighting setup in here is kind of dark. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you kind of see a bit of the blue at the ends there as I turn it. But anyway, this one is like a purple and gold, greeny gold. It's a purple and greeny gold. It's fun. It's a real fun. This one's called Shell Shocked. Anyway, these colors are from Turbo Dork. They're water-based color shifts. They're water-based acrylic color shifts. There's only another company out there, Green Stuff World, who's been putting out color shift paints. They're the only two, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure if anybody else is producing water-based acrylic color shifts out there, but Turbo Dork is one. I've become a recent fan of theirs, not just because they've been, you know, supporting us, but the colors I really like. And they're producing colored metallics in various shades, which not a lot of other paint companies are doing. So I like the fact that they are doing something different for the wargaming community. And that's why I fully endorse their product, because they're bringing something new, something different to our universe. And, you know, I'm always looking for innovation and new things, and you know what I mean? And so I fully support these new things because it feels like sometimes everything becomes very stagnant. And oftentimes, you know, when paint companies come out and they're, you know, and it's, you know, they're introducing a new paint line, you know, for miniature paints, and it's the same colors. It's blue, red, yellow, black, white, gold, metal. Okay, great. You know what I mean? Yes, it's awesome. And then they say it's high pigmented. Well, who's going to say their paint is low pigmented? Is that a selling point? Is anybody really looking for low pigmented paint? No, right? So you wouldn't say it. So what is the innovation here? What, like, come on, sell me on the innovation. What is, because I mean, there's so many companies, and there's so many companies doing it right and are very successful. And if you, like, is there enough room in this market for you to jump in and try and make a name for yourself? I hope so, you know, again, because I don't want things to become stagnant. But again, what's innovative about what you're doing, right? You know, I support innovation. But I mean, if you're just claiming your paint is high pigmented paint, everybody claims their paint's high pigmented. Nobody claims that their paint is low pigmented. I mean, if you say, well, it's a thin body paint, it's thin. Well, there's other companies who produce thin body paint as well, and there's companies who produce thick body paints. Again, what are you bringing to the table? I don't mean to say it to be like a dick or anything like that. It's just, you know, what are you bringing to the table? And so that's why I support TurboDork, because they're bringing something new to the table. Something that isn't widely available. And of course, it's on the North American side. Some of these really great paint companies, they're in Europe, and distribution in North America is kind of scarce. And so, you know, we end up falling to Citadel, because Citadel is all over the place. So, you know, that's why they're commonly used. And, you know, that's why we pay the premium price tag on Citadel, is because they're distributed all over the world. They got to cover their cost, man. Right? So, yeah. Anywho. Where was I? GeoFits. I believe that's Darknet on the shirt and Blue Raspberry on the belt from TurboDork. Is it Darknet on the shirt? Was that what it was? Dark Commission? I didn't see the comment. But Dark Commission, is that what you used on the shirt? It looked like just a dark green metallic, but I didn't know because I couldn't see the comments before. So let me know. Dark Commission, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was inspiration. Ah, very cool. Yes, can definitely see that. Matthew Adami just got done with making breakfast and shoveling for the first time. What did I miss? You missed quite a bit. In fact, we got 1 minute left of the show. Dark Commission, thanks for the CNC and the monkey comments. Green was Electrum. Oh, it was Electrum. Okay, I got Radium, and yeah, all my Turbo. I have all the TurboDork colors, which, you know, I still haven't played with all the colors yet, but anyway, yeah. Darlene, TurboDork is the brand? Yeah, just go to turbodork.com and you'll see all the paints. And they have 8 color shift paints. And yeah, if you're in Texas, yeah, they're over in California. So if you quickly order some, and they come in a good sized bottle. They are, what, 30 ml bottles? 20 ml bottles. They're 20 ml bottles at 0.6 fluid ounces. So if you want to know how much paint you're getting for your dollar. Dark Commission, good call at Kris on the lightning. Yes. You know, if you give it a shot, send me a picture of like what you did and let me know if you liked it or not. Because, you know, I mean, if you don't like it, you can always, you know, pull it off. If you sealed the model, or even if you just seal the swords and then do that glazing over top, like use a clear color on top of that. If you seal it first and you don't like it, you can always quickly use like a little bit of alcohol, just a little bit, and just quickly pull that layer off if you don't like it, right? So, but if it's sealed, if it's not sealed, you could end up really kind of, you almost like pull the lightning off that metallic, right? So, yeah. Disco Duke, Kris, I've wet blended red to yellow and it's still a bit stepped. I've tried to glaze, it's softer orange, but it's just losing the brightness of the yellow. What am I missing? I answered your question in the Discord. So in the question and answer, Disco Duke, I did answer your question. But really quickly, basically, because I might not be too clear as to what I left as the answer there. But basically, when you are throwing glazes on top, so you have the yellow, you have the red going to yellow, and then you threw an orange on there, right? Now, it's going to push the red to become a bit more orange, and it's going to push the yellow to be more orange. And so it's going to darken that yellow, and it's somewhat going to lighten the red. Its effects on the red are not going to be as apparent as the yellow, just because of the contrast levels, right? And so basically, when you're laying that glaze on top of the whole thing, you're going to pull the yellow down. Right? Because you're laying an orange, a darker color on top of that brighter color, and you're going to push that color downwards. The more glazing you do, the further that yellow is going to go down. Now, one thing you could do is, of course, not glaze as far. Start your glaze just below the yellow, pulling it towards the red, and try and pull those transitions together. Right? If you're finding that you are getting steps in your blends, you might not have enough working time. Your brush strokes are not fine enough. You might need a bigger, more surface on the brush area to pull those color blends together. You might want to use a larger brush, more of a broad brush. I don't have one right on hand right now, but might want to use something with a bit more of a surface area to it. And of course, glazing it as well, laying the orange glaze. Of course, you're pulling the yellow down. Of course, you could also make a mixture of red and or an orange and lighten it and put more yellow into that glaze, and then glaze it again. And then but again, if you want to preserve that yellow, that level of yellow, like say up at the top of it, and just start below that, and then pull your transitions down and glaze. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes when you are deepening that color, you are often, so for example, like say, I don't have a good example of something here. Let's say this mug, right? We have yellow here, we have red here, and we have color transitions in here. But we're not happy with how these transitions look, right? So we use a glaze to kind of pull the color back down towards maybe more of the red side. But we have this nice band of yellow here that we want to preserve that yellow. Well, don't glaze the entire surface. Start below the yellow and glaze down. And then you do another layer just below what you last did, glaze down. Then just below that, glaze down. Below that, glaze down. You know what I mean? Depending on how many times you want to glaze. Also, too, how thin or thick your glaze can also be an issue as well. If you find that when you put that first layer down and it pulls those transitions too far down too quickly, thin the glaze out a little bit and then apply it again. Or build the color back up as it were. Of course, the other way of fighting back and forth is you take a little bit of yellow, turn it into a glaze, and just glaze back up just a little bit. Not the whole blade, just a little bit, So, yeah, again, I did answer that in the Discord, Disco Duke, so feel free to have a look and let me know. If you still have questions, we can still work it out, so don't worry. Jim White, thank you, Kris, for the inspiration you give. Well, thank you, Jim, for asking questions and being here, watching, and attending. And of course, this goes for everybody here on YouTube and on Twitch. Everybody, I do, enjoy helping you guys. It does. It keeps me going. It keeps me going. I mean, like otherwise, I'd be bored. I'd be bored. I do this all day long. I know. Pity Kris, right? He gets to paint miniatures all day long. Gets paid to paint miniatures all day long. I know. Poor Kris, right? I can't complain, right? I mean, I can't complain. My wife, she has a rough day at work, and then if I have a rough day at work, it's like, come on, you paint miniatures all day. Really? You had a tough day at work? Really? You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't complain. I'm losing every battle. So, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And of course, send your questions to Kris at Mini Wargaming. It's in the description below. The link is in the description below. Of course, join me at waythebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness. It has links to all the social medias, the Twitter and stuff, so you can follow me on Twitter, because I usually post announcements on there. Of course, Instagram, posting pretty pictures every once in a while, and Facebook, if you want to ask your questions there, share what you want there as well. And of course, Discord. Join us on Discord. The party's always going on all week long, all the time in there, and it seems like everybody's becoming friends in there, and it seems like everybody's connecting and becoming friends, and again, I encourage that. I fully encourage that. I want to create a community where we can all share and be happy and enjoy this hobby that brings us joy. And so let's share the joy with each other and laugh and have fun and learn. Let's become better painters, and really be awesome and just enjoy life, because some of us only have so much time in the day to do this hobby, and when we do it, we don't want it to be a chore. We want to enjoy it. We want to be happy. Sometimes we have a lot of things going on in our lives, just busy, family, school, jobs, what have you, so we only have a little bit of time, and so let's make it happy time, happy fun time, right? So waythebrush.com, the central hub of all this. Discord's been great, so join us on Discord. Feel free to post. Be sure to stop in the welcome center and say hello. Waythebrush.com also has links for the t-shirts. If you want to get yourself a t-shirt, look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world, they're wearing a Way the Brush t-shirt. Again, I go back to the glasses example. Without the glasses, look like a normal dude, right? Hey, yeah, that's Kris, what have you. As soon as I put on the glasses, oh, he looks instantly smarter. Definitely, this guy knows what he's talking about. You throw on the Way the Brush t-shirt, you look like that guy, or girl, and you instantly look like, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. When they're talking painting, this one knows what he's talking about. And of course, everybody who's purchased themselves a Way the Brush t-shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine. The Monkey Shrine is also on waythebrush.com. And of course, waythebrush.com also has links to the Patreon. If you're considering patron support, big thank you. A lot of the upgrades I've done for Way the Brush over the last year have been because of patron support. They've been making this, they've made a lot of things possible. And so again, thank you very much for everybody for your support. Huge thank you for everybody who's recently joined. Oh man, just, it's fantastic, and it's very generous. And again, I only charge patrons per Way of the Brush episode. So it's only the Saturday episode. So it's 4 times, usually about a month. So if you're considering patron support, you kind of know what you're in for, right? I do produce other videos, but I don't charge for those. And of course, we also do the patron paint along and, other fun stuff. And of course, it also helps, prize support whenever I do giveaways and things like that. And it just, it's just extra fun to make this better. It provides new equipment, like recent addition was getting myself a brand new mic, So, yeah, so patron support, and of course, if you're not able to support monetarily, that's perfectly fine. Thumbing up, commenting, liking, subscribing, following, if you're on the Twitch side of things, sharing these videos. When people are asking about, on forums, and they say, I need help with wet blending. Well, I follow this guy. Here's the link to his channel. Here's the links to whatever kind of topic we're talking about, or video we're showing, or what have you. It all helps. It all helps, and it all takes is a click of a button. And a click of a button. If, that's okay. If you don't do it, that's fine. But, it helps. It all helps. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. You guys are awesome. Oh, and a big thank you to Carl, a.k.a. Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. If you love beer and you love Blood Bowl, check out Beer and Blood Bowl. And, we always thank Carl because he took the time out of his busy schedule to create the email jingles before the email segments of the show. And, again, big thank you. Would just, again, it just adds to the channel, adds to the show, makes this all a much more entertaining experience as we laugh and learn, yeah. I'm done. Okay, I gotta go see a movie now. I gotta go spend some time with the family. So I'm afraid today I'm not gonna be able to join you guys in Discord, but feel free to jump into Discord, people jump into Discord all the time. You guys don't need me. Well, maybe you do, I don't know. But either way, I will see you guys later. Yeah, you guys are crazy. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. Yeah, next week. Right? Yes. Next week. Yeah, I'm done. sure why you guys are still here. Go do something. Go paint. Go assemble. Go play a game. Hug a loved one. Spend some time with your family. Go study. You should be studying right now. Don't listen to me. Study. Learn. I don't know. I'm getting out of here. Let's go shovel some snow or something if you're in the North American side of things, because we're getting dumped on with snow. So it's kind of like The Day After Tomorrow. You guys see that movie? Man, that scared the shit out of me, man. All the snow. I'm up here in Canada, which means we're all dead. We're all dead if the snow comes and buries us. Yeah, it's goodbye, Kris. This might be the last show. You don't know. There's gonna be a mountain of snow over me tomorrow. Who knows? It's scary. That's awful.